Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order Monday, May 4th, 2026 at 6 p.m. here at the town hall. Need a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there any changes or corrections on the agenda? Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the agenda?
Aye.
Right. Peter? Approved minutes of the regular meeting of April 20th, 2026. Any corrections to those minutes? Do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll move it.
Any discussion? If none, I need a vote to approve those minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have a detailed report from Tim Morton, who's a state forester. And there are two properties, that he looked at for potential logging. Does the board have any concerns or questions of his report? It sounds like a very favorable report. For the logging, the section around the highway garage and on Route 35 where the cemetery, possible cemetery. That land that we acquired.
It sounds to me like there's revenue in both places
Right,
that we work with.
okay.
And I have a question, when we did this before, talks about the last time he did it, it's on the map. Was this the same process of not really having an estimate for revenue? You just sort of trust the process and go through it, I'm assuming it's all the same. Great, thank you.
And he would not be able to do this until late or sometime in August. So you need a motion to accept this report? I think it would be best, yeah.
Second.
All in favor of Tim Morton's report on the two sections for logging for the town of Grafton? Any opposed? Any discussion? Okay, motion passed. Thank you. Highway report.
The graders making its rounds, by the end of the week.
Yeah, use the mic.
Yeah, we have to remind
There's
everybody.
people online that probably can't hear. Push the button.
Oh, you can?
You can hold it.
Yeah, you can take the microphone with you.
You know where to go?
You take the microphone.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, we're good. Yes.
Yeah, the graders are making its round around town, hopefully by the end of the week, we'll hit every road in town for at least once this year. Along with all on gravel, I'm doing some ditching out, four chimneys, fucking forest and 121. The hydrants were also flushed last week for the first time. Generally do that twice a year. And then the sweeper was around the village Friday. And covered everything we wanted in the day.
Thanks for the update you sent out yesterday.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
that was very good.
It was helpful.
The roads are great. They're very smooth.
Yeah,
When are they gonna let her or a new pickup?
we could do that at any point, but truck 3 is over budget for the year, so. We can either go ahead and do it and be further in debt in that line item, or we can wait till July to do it then.
Were you gonna have it in the parade?
We haven't finalized really anything yet.
I'm just wondering if the timing of having it in the parade and maybe having.
Yeah.
Grafted on it.
Well, I know we were hoping for a full wagon, so that would probably be the truck.
How much is full water?
I don't honestly know. I would imagine it would be $300-400, that's all.
I can't remember, we just pulled out the Johnson's, did the bill last month.
I don't think it's working.
Johnson did it the last time, so. And look up and see how much it is, but.
Yeah.
If the board's okay.
So if you guys would like it done before July, let me know when I can get the ball rolling on that.
Is it, or, I mean, to move that line item from truck A to truck B, is that something that we do or not?
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
Shouldn't do that.
Right, just for budgeting purposes if you want.
Okay,
But, the thing is, if you're gonna get it done, you know, in May or June, we may not even get the invoice right off the bat either. So if it's after July 1st, and we get the invoice, it'll just go on the next year's budget.
Okay, yep.
That maybe you might even do that to.
Any motion?
Yeah.
So there's a, make a motion to, do the lettering on the new pickup truck. So I have a second.
So,
Any discussion? All those in favor of lettering the pickup truck, hopefully before the parade? All in favor? Any opposed? Anything else on highway? Travis, what's that? Any comments from folks here? Any highway issues for Travis while he's here? If not. Committee report, cemetery committee. Any updates?
Skip me.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. Just a reminder, again, May 15th, next Friday, end of the tax year, fourth quarter payments are due. They're slowly rolling in and I have the sign out. Just to update you, I did send out delinquent dog notices last week. So, the stack of dogs that have not been registered yet from last year, they did get a delinquent notice. So in June, I'll come forward with whoever still is ignoring the delinquent notices. And then give it to Ashley. I sent around and I hadn't heard much for reply, and hopefully everybody got it. There's an election, a small, training for elections for the BCA on June 23rd. I need to register people. I would like to do West Rutland. But the classes fill up quickly. Didn't know if maybe I could remind the board, I did hear from Mary, Paul and Wendy. And Michelle and myself are going to West Rutland. I think it's only from 9 till 11:30. It's a very short one. But it's to brush us all up on as a BCA as to the elections that'll be coming. We do have a primary in August and a general in November. So if you could get back to me as soon as possible and I'll sign this up.
can you elaborate a little bit on what that training involves?
Just everything to do with election, from the time for having poll watchers to what your responsibility is as a BCA member. Counting ballots, overseeing the elections. Because I'm an election official, I would refer to the BCA if there's ever a question on a voter who gives us any issues or problems or someone, or I turn to the BCA if I have an issue as an official. Counting of the ballots. Pairing up. They'll probably touch a little bit on tabulators, which we don't have, and they'll touch a little bit on hand counters, which is what we are. So it's pretty much just the responsibilities of what a BCA actually has authority of. I've never been to one specifically for this, and I think it's, a lot of it is just trying to be very cautious of elections now. And the integrity of the workers. So.
Email is very complete, by the way.
Yeah.
That was sent out, so.
Yeah.
I
I can forward that too, and there's other options, other places to go. The only two other places were Colchester, and I didn't wanna pick the other two dates for Colchester, so Michelle and I chose to go to West Rutland. You certainly can, and they did say on there may be training at another time. Online, they didn't say definitely, they didn't give a date, but there could be. Okay, so that being said, talking about BCA. Because the select board is part of the BCA. Grievances will begin as soon as the listers have dates. For hearing grievances from the assessments that went out. Once they've got their dates, I will have our date as to if someone decides to move forward from a grievance and go to the BCA. That will probably fall sometime in July. And I'll give you more specific dates when the listers give me their dates. And I will have an organizational meeting prior to this. Even if no one comes forward to the BCA and everything gets taken care of at the grievance level. Just to be sure to be prepared, I'm going to have a organizational meeting for the BCA. And we also have the assessor, Ryan, who did all of our reappraisal, will come and give a presentation to explain what to expect at a BCA hearing.
Does Hardy anticipate several of these?
It's hard to say, they don't know until, somebody submits a letter, comes in, or something of that sort. And once they get theirs. And their dates, then I kind of will have an idea of. Who may move and who may not move up to the BCA. Just be prepared.
Lisa has a question.
Do we know when the actual new bills coming out?
They don't come out until the second week of July.
Okay, so is that when the grievance period starts, the clock starts running?
No, grievance can start anywhere from now, and I think Hardy's on now, he can say, I'm not sure if he knows the dates yet. But no, we have to lodge the grand list by June 30th.
Okay.
That's what the listers do. Everything has to be taken care of by June 30th. Then on June 30th, I get the educational tax rate from the state. And we're going to set the municipal tax rate with the select board, usually the first meeting in July. And then we put it together and I send it out the first week of July. I'll start mailing out tax bills. Other than that, that's it. Oh, and I do have free desks downstairs.
Where'd that come from? I saw it on Facebook.
That was Michelle's desk, and with the grant, we were able to get the rising desks. So I got a rising desk and Michelle has a rising desk now, so we've got a free desk to give away. Morgan's got a rising desk. Morgan's desk will be moved to the lister's office, so I'm gonna have a lister's desk. And I'm not really sure where we're gonna put these. It'd be nice if it was the fireman's sale, but it's not, and they're heavy, and I thought about if we could maybe move them on the porch and put free on it, maybe somebody will take it. If you guys are fine with that.
We get somebody to move them.
Wait, huh?
Well, I'm thinking. I No, think we'll make some cookies or something.
Thank you, Kim.
All right.
Now, cemetery update committee. Any updates for the cemetery committee?
Not aware of any. I did ask Austin if he heard anything about the contract from the contractor that we walked around and talked to his job. I don't know if you, haven't seen anything. Hey, I guess your question, you or not, who then oversees the timing and what the contractor does?
I can, if nobody's seen or heard or it hasn't done anything, I will contact Tyson and email. Both Jeff and Tyson, and I'll see, you know, when do they plan on starting to do this?
Okay, great.
I know we do have a burial coming up the 15th or 16th. So I wanna make sure that there's no big messes in there at that time, especially.
Right.
So that's a good reason, I can call them and just ask them about it.
You know about that.
I did talk to Austin this evening after I left work, about, there's a, in the Houghtonville Cemetery, and it's in the grass area next to the parking lot. There's a kind of a stone that was kicked up for a cornerstone. And I asked him if he would put a flag there so that during any services, nobody would run it over or pop their tire or park on it. Because there's no designated parking areas over there right now. He said he would do that.
Oh, good.
And I did talk to him a little bit about, some people have said something, there's a few, grave sites that have sunk a little bit, and he said he'd go in and fill them in with the pile of topsoil that's in them. That's in the back, so he did say he would do that.
I'd like to recommend to the cemetery committee, if they would ask the highway, if they would gravel the road into the Hopeville Cemetery.
We started,
I see this with short back, but if you started by the road, it went all the way in and over to the line. It would look really nice to define the lawn and the cemetery of that road.
Openville's come over.
Yeah.
We did spread a couple, we
I
got
see
more.
that, yeah,
We
but
can
if
do
you can
more.
make it look like it's a road that goes in, it would look really nice.
Yeah.
We have a conversation.
So you think you can do it?
We're not.
Anything on parks?
Yeah, I have a parks report. I met with the Village Park volunteers last week about various issues. And we have confirmed that the GIA is continuing to provide outhouses for both the Village Park and Winnie Park. And Dave Culver met with us there. And that would be, he did say for the foreseeable future. They talked about signage, saying that facilities are available since they haven't typically gotten much use. And they were gonna think about how they might, where they might put a sign saying, maybe at the post office or something, saying there's a, you know, porta potty for use up at Village Park. They would like, the park volunteers did say they would like to see the remaining Village Park fund that used for any tree work and invasives up there, and I said I'd check with him, which I haven't yet, to see what the current total is, and that we'd look into where it can be best applied and what we need to do there in terms of either or both addressing invasives and addressing ash borer. So that is, we are looking into investigating options in terms of addressing these invasives there. I know we've talked about addressing invasives in the town as well, so I don't know how different these efforts should be, or they should be one big effort, but I think that's just, we'll figure that out. We talked about there's a big swath of erosion due to the recent rain, which Travis is addressing. There's an upper drainage ditch that got blocked, and so, keeping that clear will be important going forward. Al Sands asked that I report that he would like to see the money from any timber sale earmarked from our timber harvesting for a parks fund. I said I would bring that to the attention of the board. I then updated them on the upper gazebo, I'm calling it. We met earlier, Travis and Peter and I, and we removed some offending nails and hammered some down. I said that I was not in support of tampering with a historical artifact like that. They agreed, they'll wonder what the future will look like, and it's pretty sturdy, we all agreed right now. It's listing a little, but maybe it was always listing. But essentially that concern was shelved when we discussed how we've gotten rid of the nails, and it seemed in relative, actually for its age, which none of us are terribly sure of. But it seemed in relatively good shape. And the other thing was that parks volunteers would like to pursue an updated count, because we talked about the count of the people that go through the parks. And according to them, and I haven't had a chance to go through it with Morgan this week, that the count was done before that SurePack trail had been done. And that they suggested reaching out to maybe the Wyndham Regional Commission. I think they're gonna reach out to see about usage now. And I thought this was something we certainly could ask about. But they talked about how many access points there are at the park, so if there's this sort of map method where they track people walking across a map, you'd have to have it several points, but they would advise on that. So it's something for the future. And that, I think, sums it up. So all in all, a good meeting, just getting some of those ideas out.
One issue that we had talked about, with Travis, that I have not closed in on, has to do with the town's liability for anybody, encountering, an event on parkland. And, I'm not sure that has been, sufficiently addressed. I haven't, followed up on it.
I did pass it on to Morgan, so she could investigate it with the passive insurance policy that we have.
I saw a note on the desk, so we'll work on it.
Yeah, great. It certainly would be relevant. You don't want to go in and tear down just to protect yourself. Start gazebo unless you're vulnerable.
Or any of the areas in the park would be under that, I would assume. Okay,
Thanks for your report.
thank you. You're welcome, Renee.
Highway committee, anything? Personnel committee. I know Ann and I still need to meet, on some, wording. July 23rd, July 2023 flood update. Do you have anything, Morgan? And we have the Wyndham County Society 2026-27 contract. They did increase it somewhat.
Yeah,
Follow
yeah, it was 509 and last year was 442.
I had a question on it. Maybe Kim, you can answer. Are there any, they listed if an animal is, sent to the shelter and it's either injured or sick, who pays for the fees for that?
It'll be whoever picks their animal up,
Okay,
if they have to tend to their animal or if it has to stay for any length of time. It's the responsibility of the owner when they do come to claim their animal.
have we, in the past, had any issues with that?
No, I think
People
people
saying we're
have
not
to
gonna
use
pay.
it once or twice.
Okay,
Then somebody's gone right there and picked their animal off right then. It just happened to have been a time when Mike can't hold on to the animal. But we try to hold it in the office for at least the entire day, and then Mike will take it. And if he can, he tries to keep it for at least 24 hours. hoping to find the owner before he really hates to turn him over to the Humane Society, it's just disrupting to them and not good for the animal.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Does the board have any questions about the contract? So you need a signature?
And a motion to accept it.
I'll make a motion to accept the Wyndham County Humane Society contract for 2026-27.
So all in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Planning Commission Act 181 opposition letter. We all have it. It was sent out. Does the board have any questions?
I just have one. I mean, guess I should ask Matt directly or somebody on the planning commission. So I did read it and I understand it does speak about the repeal that has happened so far. How does, so going forward, is this the language at the end, I believe? Talks, can you speak to why we're sending another letter? Not that I think it's important.
It's not another letter, it's
I mean, sending a letter after the,
very important, it's not gonna stop here.
okay, that's, I just wish you, if you could articulate that. So are there plans now to, even though it's quote unquote been repealed, is there movement to do something else, or are we?
I don't know if it's the law, but you know what you can do, so. It's not this, it's something else, but if it's not the last we're gonna see of it.
Okay, okay, so that's the reason behind still sending it, it's,
Many people are still signing petitions.
I see, thank you, I,
I think we have some thought by sending it.
yeah, great, I would just appreciate the clarification, I didn't was,
Yeah, if you follow some of the social media, especially Facebook,
mhm.
on 181, there's a lot of literature and letters and comments that everybody's putting in. It's just local
That's great.
Vermonters concerned about the 181. It's ongoing.
I had a couple of questions about, number one, there's been some confusion, about whether the planning commission, has, authorization, just because it exists, to communicate, to the governor and the committees and so forth. I don't see in the statute where that authority exists, so maybe that's one issue to try to clear
Where
up.
you get that from, my annex?
Where do I get it from?
Yeah.
I don't see it permitted in the Title 24 VSA 4325.
If I may, part of that. States that planning commission powers to undertake capacity studies, and make recommendations on matters of land development, urban renewal, transportation, economic and social development. For beautification and design improvements. Etc. Data gathered by the planning commission that is relevant to the geographic information system established under previous chapter 20 shall be compatible with, useful to, and shared with that system. I read it just out of there, so.
I guess the pivot word there is recommendation, right? About issues, those topics. Is that
We again,
I'm just trying to understand where the authority to independently.
that's why we presented it.
No.
I don't think with planning commission was sending this independently, we spoke about that pretty extensively.
Are we?
At the last meeting, that we were presenting it to the select
We were at
board.
our meeting.
Excuse me,
Just a minute.
please have one person speaking at once and the microphone.
Well, I mean, trying, can you not hear?
No, it's true.
Thanks.
And Matt, I'll just say, because at the last select board meeting, we did speak about this. And I don't think the planning commission was trying to send this out independent of the select board and be the letter. Ask the select board to sign it as well. So this isn't the planning commission sending out an independent statement. It's bringing it to the select board and asking the select board to join in that statement as well.
Right, no, I don't dispute that conversation, I just was trying to understand whether this actually being presented as a recommendation for some joint statement to include this board, or whether this is a gesture of courtesy. Just so I understand.
At the bottom of the letter, it has the select board and the planning commission chairs requesting they sign.
Okay. The second part of my question is sort of the tone of the letter is pretty harsh. And I think that the enemy here being the committee in the House, who arguably went overboard in terms of too much concern for conservation and not enough concern for a lot of other issues. Is that where this is coming from the planning commission's standpoint?
States the facts. It states the facts.
I can't understand.
It states the facts. What? This fact, he's trying to do. If I may, I think you're probably referring to, which has been mentioned in the past, but some others, is statewide zoning. Is that something that you don't like?
No, I'm not saying I don't, I was trying to flag the tone of the letter and the concern from the people who had proposed it have already accepted the fact that this year it's gonna get repealed. And the Vermont League of Cities and Towns has gone on record and passed a motion supporting that. And I just was wondering why all the rest of the language was appropriate at this juncture.
What in particular?
No, I'm not, man, I don't think this is the forum to go through and try to do
Well,
wordsmithing.
If I may, you were at our meeting. And
Yes,
you
I was.
left about 5 minutes after the meeting started.
I was.
You could have stayed and you had been on the discussion as well.
No, well, another way to have handled that would have been for the two chairs to say, let's prepare your joint statement. And then maybe each of those would be charged with working together to come up with a mutually acceptable approach.
Madam Chair,
Yeah, here.
Eric Stevens speaking. The need for strong language is that this type of legislation, confiscation of property rights is not something that is going to be ended by just canceling tier 3 and road rule. This kind of appropriation has been going on historically for a long while, and it is using Act 250 as its enabling statute, gradually putting more and more power in the bureaucracy of the state, less in the local municipalities. This is just the latest in a string of ways of trying to impose things on a local jurisdiction without basically any representation in this case. So the people that are trying to do this will come back again. That's my prediction. They're just smart again, licking their wounds at this point. This is going to return. Act 250 has already been included within the river corridor, which is another
pet peeve of mine of being arbitrary but not, well thought out. Act 250 reform has not included reform that actually made Act 250 better to deal with in the state. It has made it more restrictive. To call it conservation is to neglect the idea that local municipalities care about conservation, because I think they do. In this case, the road rule and the Tier 3 were pushed through without collaboration as a main point with local municipalities, and people finally who got upset about it. So I think the harsh tone, if you call it that, is necessary to remind these people there's a problem with their approach. And the next time around, maybe they'll talk with people when they're really interested in proposing.
No, that's not soapbox, that's very helpful context, thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Matt. Any discussion from the board? I don't have a problem with the letter. I think it's well written. It serves its purpose to help Vermonters that don't have a voice. And it's quite a movement to get this appealed and changed. It says a lot that Vermonters want to take back Vermont. That's all I have to say. I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in from the board.
I'll chime in. I think considering the last fall, when we all sort of first, obviously somewhat delayed and for whatever reason, were first made aware of this, and it seemed very much after the fact. I mean, it was pretty shocking. And it was like, what's going on here? And I, while, you know, I was on a lot of the calls with the land use board, whatever, that guy's in Alex Weinberg. And, you know, appreciated the interchange, but it was, the horse was out of the barn, it was after the fact. So I don't have an issue with the tone. I think it's like, it's terribly important that we're not put in that position again. And so I appreciate the tone. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would use the word harsh. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward in stating the facts, and I think the facts may be leading to a bit of harshness just because of the way things were moved through the legislature without really a lot of input from the voters. And I think it was interesting that there was I don't know about simultaneous uprising, but there was certainly a grassroots action that came from a lot of individuals in different towns and planning commissions and select boards that were opposing, you know, the additions that Act 181 brought into place. So, you know, I think the letter is actually fairly balanced for what it was talking about. I did want to, I was reading the minutes today to make sure that I would be ready when we were signing off on them. And Suzanne Walsh had asked that the board consider two things, and to be fair, and since I don't believe she's here tonight, but to bring them up, she was worried about the process, about being a serialized meeting of the planning commission. But I do believe that we gave input independently to Matt. It wasn't a letter that was passed around that people added to. Matt did a draft that was provided to the planning commission members. Everybody gave individual feedback to Matt, so we never really saw it until it was final letter for the presentation. So I think that addresses that, but I did want to comment on that. I know we talked about that, Eric, in the meeting, that we wanted to avoid that. So not only was the communication to Matt one way, but Matt did not communicate back to us one way. Right.
He collected the information and he has a mandate for, putting together a strong man letter, so. And we did not collectively in any sense, discuss, town business with any forum, not even the two people, which would have been less than the forum, so. I think we're clear of the, intent of the open meeting law to, avoid any kind of decision-making done in the absence of public exposure.
I did want to just make sure that we address that, so we'll be in the minutes for this meeting.
Hmm.
Uh,
Thank you for, including that, us. At this point, I don't have any forms of, signing this, for the letter to go out. I think it's important. Yes,
So I did attend the meeting, of the planning meeting, and there were two separate drafts of the letter. So I'm just wondering if the communications were all one way and serial, how did it happen that there were two separate drafts at the meeting?
Because the individuals brought them in,
Yeah. I brought mine and,
I brought mine,
that is,
and Clayton
I
brought
get
it.
it, is.
Oh. Somehow I got the impression that it had already been decided that one of those drafts would be used.
No,
It had,
no,
okay.
no.
If I may, someone was very misunderstood about whether there was a public document. It's not a public document, it is notes. No discussion.
Okay, so, and my other comment has to do with the, paragraph at the end of the, bullet points that says, Act 181 effectively creates de facto statewide zoning. And, I think zoning is, completely inappropriate word. There is no such a thing as statewide zoning. Zoning is a municipal set of regulations that a town may choose or not choose to enact. And there is no statewide zoning, so I think this is highly inappropriate language. Talk about statewide zoning. So the second page,
yeah, that's fine. It's de facto.
the last one. And I understand, of course, there are a lot of opinions and feelings about the concept of zoning, and people are more than entitled to their feelings and opinions. However, people are not entitled to their own definitions of what zoning means. And this is not correct use of zoning.
Matt,
If I may, Aaron Webster, not Google. States that it defines zoning as the act or process of partitioning a city or town or borough into zones reserved for different purposes. What you can do with your property depends on its location.
That city was, you just said city or town or not state. Yeah, and Vermont statutes, if Vermont statutes is the what we have to look at, not what the dictionary says.
Septic, isn't septic, like a permission you have to get from the state, so that's. Falls under the form of zoning, also septic, that is, even though it's. Got a restriction of where their setbacks are, it's still classified as part of zoning. So, zoning,
Zoning is historically based on local government determination.
exactly, that's the key word, local, it's municipal. It's municipal, it's what a town municipality chooses to do.
But
And the state allows towns, the possibility to enact zoning within its borders, but there is no statewide zoning. So, I am reading from, Vermont statutes. 24 VSA 44:111. Municipality may regulate land development in conformance with its adopted municipal plan. That is zoning, municipality.
So I think the point was to make, or it was to make the point that the state was overreaching and essentially creating statewide zoning regardless of the definition, because they're imposing local controls throughout the state. I would be okay, potentially changing that to statewide overreach instead of zoning, to maybe avoid that concern. Matt, here.
The point is, as you started off with, to point out that the state is imposing something that should be a municipal choice. Don't dispute the definitions of zoning. The state is in fact taking things that are perfectly clear in the definition of zoning and applying them to land use local. And it should be, well, so I think zoning is an appropriate term. And it also is a trigger word, if you will, to wake people up to the fact that they are being controlled for their land use at the state level. And I think that's valuable to make people sort of take notice. And I don't believe it violates any statute or definition. It's just the state taking a control that is normally innocent.
Well, perhaps the
Thank you, Eric.
suggested, perhaps using those words, different words for convey the same message without talking about statewide zoning.
Okay, we're gonna move on. I think everybody that has shared, we appreciate that, and I guess moving forward, Maureen, do we need a motion on this? I don't think we do.
Are you sending the letter as written?
Yes,
Then I would make a motion so that you can sign it.
I make a motion to send the letter that has been created by the planning commission. And supporting, the select board is supporting that letter. All in favor?
And I,
Which is
we have
second?
discussion.
Yeah. Yes, discussion from the board. Go ahead.
Okay, not to beat this thing too hard, it would be useful if this kind of collaboration is going to be on the table in the future. Is to figure out some process whereby there can be participation, so it's not a body receiving a completed product and then having a debate or a dispute about, what does this particular word mean? I'm not sure how that would be done, but so long as that becomes a positive outcome, as well as this, a spiritual one, that we all have to agree, in essence, that this is not a good work of public policy and should be repealed.
Anything else from the board? Okay, we have a motion.
And we have a second. Second.
John seconded. Yes. All in favor of the planning commission's oppositional letter?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion's passed. Thank you, planning commission, for all your work and your efforts.
Wilson.
Other business. Yes, Kim.
I had a couple complaints come into the office that, speeding and smoke and black lines are happening again down Hudson Road. So, I don't know if we can ask the sheriff to visit that section of the road. I don't know what time would be a good time, but the citizens down there, and there are some that I have not heard from before, that are getting concerned at the danger and the looks.
Mhm.
It did appear that one of those squiggly scrub out lines went off the road into a ditch just beyond the trails. And hit us, I mean, that's public property, so that's not cool either.
That was an accident, but.
Oh, was it? That's different?
This is a different, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, it is a different one,
okay. I would
starting up again.
suggest around 6, 5, 6 at night. From what I've witnessed in town.
Maybe about 10:30, 10:30 at night too.
10:30.
John, you're a night owl.
How do you know about this?
I can reach out to the sheriff's department.
Thank you. We surely don't want an accident or an injury. And I know kids are kids, but enough's enough. Oh, yes, yeah.
That's how, notice this happening over a period of months, and I think it's something that you should be aware of. And probably should be corrected before we have torrential downpours, say at the end of summer. All of the drainage out from the new bridge, upper bridge. Crosses, there's a 15-inch. Section of pavement right on the corner where it comes off across the entrance of my driveway. The old bridge had drains on it, which I can agree probably had a deleterious effect on the structure of the bridge and perhaps pollution of water or whatever. But the way it is right now, all the water that hits the bridge drains through a channel that wide across the driveway. It's a minor issue that it creates a trench that I drive through. It's more of an infrastructure of the town issue, in that where it comes off the pavement, it's actually starting to undermine the pavement, that section. And you could, a highway engineer ought to look at it, but reinforcing it or somehow spreading that water more widely or draining it, perhaps back under the bridge. I don't know how you best do it, but I'm telling you right now that eventually, if we have a really hard downpour, it's gonna work its way back under the pavement.
Well, the state should take a look at it.
Yeah.
They're those ones that are good with the water.
Yeah, like Morgan, I think you could contact
Roche.
So in the meantime, does the highway department have anything to do with it, or just you want to look at it first?
Take pictures of it, send it up, the near-term solution is to plug the hole that's starting to go back under the pavement with something that isn't gonna be washed away, so.
So is that something, Travis, you can take some pictures,
Yeah.
maybe get them to Morgan? Thank you for bringing that up. Any other business?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
more sampling is taking place, when we got an invoice from. Wait,
Today?
yeah,
Okay, I didn't see it today, but I will look.
so there was. Mentioned in our planning commission, there's several samples of the. Maybe.
Well, we're looking at invoices now. They need them before, what, May 22nd?
Yeah.
So, sampling beyond. Moving that along.
Okay.
A little bit more. Homeowners will participate.
they're gonna contact folks, right? Additional,
Did try, yeah. How many people are sorting until they get here, we can get here.
do we know if letters were sent out to second homeowners?
Yeah, you know. You know that this.
Michelle sent a list to absolutely everybody who was on the homes that they had requested before, so I'm assuming so. Yeah, it would have been second home this year.
Yeah, he was supposed to get us a report and responsive and an update. Give us, reports. We, Western Sampson.
Any other business? Public comment? Lisa,
Just wondering, when might the SDR ordinance come back on the agenda?
Well, we waited till Morgan got back, and so we're gonna look at it again. It may be within the next couple of meetings at any rate,
Thank you.
I think. I can't promise, but I think.
Speaking of
yes, Matt.
ordinances, the septic ordinance.
Oh, right.
Mike. Donald's gonna be speaking at our meeting next week. Hopefully he's gonna need it. Give us a rundown on what he's found for us, within the legality, so they know
Okay.
the ordinance. Septic fund.
Thanks for following up on that. Need a motion to move into executive session, to deal with a personnel matter. And our next meeting is Monday, May 18th, 2026 at 6 p.m. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to enter.
So moved. Aye.
All in favor? Thank you, everybody.